Rise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the Port of Victoria sets its sights on the future with a new deal. And a ballot initiative could bring changes to the fire department, what voters will soon decide. Plus, immigration raids bring unrest amid a new threat against agents.
And for your Wednesday, yep, you guessed it, we're still a little bit warm out there with highs in the low 90s for today. But if that heat's not for you, we still have not one, but two fronts in the forecast next 10 days. All that in the weather coming up.
Victoria's football looks to win back-to-back wins versus the Wagner Thunderbirds this Friday night. We'll highlight this game later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning, Crossroads. Welcome to your Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
And you know, I have decided my Halloween costume, Parker.
Have you? What is it?
I have. Well,
should we keep it a secret?
We'll keep a little bit of secret for now.
Okay.
But it's kind of for like, I'm hoping it's the 70s, maybe upper 60s by Halloween.
You know, I might have that good news for you coming our way later next week. We have a second front coming our way. We're going to look at all that later, I promise. It'll be here just in time for Halloween, because before any of that fun stuff gets here, we have another lovely cool morning out there, starting at the day 62 in Victoria. Dew point still a degree off at 61. Bringing us that high 96% humidity. Now, that's technically enough to see some fog, at least some form of light fog, but I'm thinking none of that out there this morning, because right now we have with us a very calm to light wind, which is shifting at times out of the north and the southeast at times, and that's what's bringing us a little bit of dry air filtering in with that humid air, so no need to worry about fog. We've got some mixing taking place. But with the northerly wind, we're seeing temperatures dropping into the 60s, and this time it's for all of us, including the coast. That means you, Port Lavaca and Palacios, 65 right now and 68. And the rest of Texas is following suit. You can see lots of 60s and even a few 50s across the state. But humidity, it's high right now, but I promise it's going to plummet again this afternoon, down as low as 20 to 30%. So no burning for today, especially with our burn bans in effect, which we'll talk about later on Sunrise. Because if you're sending your kiddos at the door this morning, it's going to be sunny. We're going to be talking about all those details next.
We're learning more about the man now in federal custody after a deadly shooting in Telfner. 41-year-old Savin Singh is accused of illegally having a gun when 47-year-old Charmony Lewis was killed on October 3rd. Authorities say Singh is an undocumented immigrant from Cambodia, and they say he is a known gang member. Court records show Singh had an active arrest warrant from 2022 for another homicide in Los Angeles. He was ordered to be deported then, but was never removed. He faces up to 10 years in federal prison if convicted. The Port of Victoria is taking a big step toward the future of energy. It just signed an agreement with Blue Energy to explore building a modular nuclear facility at the Texas Logistics Center. The project could bring up to 1.5 gigawatts of clean energy and over $1 billion in investment. It could also bring about 100 high-paying jobs to the area. Blue Energy says its next-generation design cuts cost and build time. The company aims to deliver American-made nuclear power faster and more efficiently than ever. Victoria voters will soon decide whether local firefighters can enter into a civil service agreement with the city. If it passes, firefighters would have the ability to negotiate pay, benefits, and working conditions. Election day is just weeks away, and this is one issue that could shape the future of local emergency services. Victoria firefighters say their top priority is public safety, and they prefer to keep serving the city they call home.
The firefighters here in town are going to have basic protections and standards that are going to foster an environment that makes them want to stay, ultimately.
The upcoming ballot propositions were prompted by a petition from the Victoria Firefighters Association. The city encourages residents to learn more by watching the October 8th City Council meeting. Early voting starts Monday and ends Friday, October 31st, and Election Day is November 4th. If you're swerving around the same pothole every morning, you're not alone. We spotted some trouble spots at Easley and Salem Road. If there's a pothole that's driving you crazy, snap a photo or video and send it our way. We'll feature it on our next Pothole Patrol and follow up and see if it sparked action. Email us at staff@crossroadstoday.com. A dramatic crash set off a clash between federal officers and Chicago residents. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio shares the reactions to an attempted arrest by the Department of Homeland Security.
This is the crash that led to a chaotic confrontation between residents and federal officers on Chicago's east side. Homeland Security officials say an undocumented immigrant inside an SUV tried to flee from being arrested and rammed into a Border Patrol vehicle. A chase followed, with agents then crashing into the SUV to stop it. 2 people fled on foot but were eventually arrested. Residents nearby gathering at the scene, the crowd growing hostile, throwing eggs at federal agents, then rocks. Agents responding by firing tear gas. Several people were arrested.
There's absolutely no reason to have this kind of chaos happening in our communities, putting people at risk, putting people in harm's way, and just exacerbating the fear that people feel right now.
The confrontation is the latest to highlight the growing security risk for federal officers. Homeland Security says Mexican cartels are now offering cash bounties targeting ICE officers and other agents. They say cartels are offering $2,000 for gathering intelligence on federal officials and their families, $5,000 to $10,000 for kidnapping or non-lethal assaults, and up to $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials.
We're not backing down. We will keep going. We will continue to enforce the rule of law. President Trump and Secretary Noem are going to give our law enforcement the resources they need to succeed and clean up America's streets.
President Trump says his crackdown on crime in Democratic-led cities is working.
Chicago, we've already made a lot of progress despite fighting from the government, but Chicago's doing great.
Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
The Senate, for an 8th time, has rejected the House-passed government funding stopgap bill. The Senate voted 49 to 45 on the measure that needed 60 votes to pass. No new interested senators on either side of the aisle switched their votes in any notable way. The shutdown has gone on for over 14 days now, which makes it the 5th longest shutdown in U.S. history. International Red Cross vehicles arrived in Gaza Tuesday to retrieve the bodies of the deceased hostages from Hamas. Hamas had been holding the hostages in captivity since the deadly October 7th attack back in 2023. The Israeli military said the Red Cross received the bodies of 4 hostages from Gaza as part of the ceasefire and a hostages prisoner swap, which began Monday and saw the release of 20 live hostages and 4 of the 38 deceased. For all your local news content, come to crosswordstoday.com. Submit those birthdays, military heroes, news tips, and add your events to our community calendar. And remember to follow us on YouTube, Crosswords Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. The time now, let's get a look at our clock up here. It is 6:38 on our Wednesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up next on 25 News Now Sunrise. An annual tradition returns, but with new surprises this year.
More fallout from the government shutdown as President Trump is slammed for bailing out another country while U.S. workers go without pay. I'm Nicole D'Antonio in Washington with details on where things stand this morning.
And also coming up next after the break and the short-term forecast, you heard me say today it's going to be another warm day. So coming up next, I'll tell you just how warm I think it'll be near you. Well, good morning, Crossroads, and happy Weather Wednesday. For your Wednesday, we're going to be looking pretty similar once again to yesterday, Tuesday, and also Monday before that. All that means is that we're looking a little bit warmer there for the middle of October. Today's the 15th. We're dead in the middle of October, and we should be looking cool soon, which we will. We'll look at that later, because you can see yesterday's highs. Most of us got into the low 90s. Actually, I'm going to say half and half got in the low 90s, and the other half was in the upper 80s. 91 in Victoria, 91 the same in Cuero, and for our friends in Yoakum, Hallettsville, and in Nixon. You can see on the coast, y'all were in the upper 80s. And I think today we're going to be looking pretty similar to that. Mostly thanks to our sunshine for today, but also thanks to our high pressure, which is over our heads. And you can see here on your future tracker, do you see any clouds? I've been pressing play this whole time on the future tracker. all day long. We're going to be looking for wall-to-wall sunshine, so grab your sunglasses if you're headed out the door. Now, going into overnight tonight, our skies, you can see, are going to stay pretty clear, and that'll let our lows cool down once again. Until tomorrow, the winds are going to return out of the southeast, out of the Gulf. That's going to bring humidity back for some cloud cover, partial cloud cover tomorrow, and also, you just saw right there, a 10% chance for rain, if we be so lucky, because before that you can see sunshine going to heat us up to about 92 in Victoria. That's 7 degrees above where we're supposed to be, and everyone else, like I said, like yesterday, looking at highs in the low 90s, maybe highs in the upper 80s near the coast. And for the rest of this week, we're going to be looking pretty much like that, with highs in the low 90s and upper 80s, lows in the 60s, right back in the 70s before a front gets here this weekend and another next week, and we'll look at all that next.
And the East Titans look to build their first victory of the season this Friday night at home for San Antonio Wagner Thunderbirds. And the Titans showcased a complete game versus MacArthur last week, with Dedrick Callis having 2 rushing touchdowns and Xavier Valdez going 7-12 for 167 yards and 1 touchdown through the air last week. With their star performances from both quarterbacks, head coach John Ford knows it's going to be a challenge to find out when to put one of them on the field at the right time.
You know, Valadez throws the ball and understands the passing game a little bit better, and Callis is definitely a more dynamic runner, and so trying to balance that and keep our best players on the field, it's been challenging.
Now, Ford plans to utilize both quarterbacks again this Friday night. And again, they're also going to look for a triple option offense from Wagner, which their current defensive coordinator, Alan Salinas, is no stranger to, because he's at the DC at Calhoun High School last year. And they did triple option for the past 20 years under previous head coach, and Richard Whittaker is hoping to kind of get that page win back-to-back wins for Victoria East. This is Max Williams, 25 News Now Sports.
We want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. This morning, the government shutdown continues after another round of failed voting. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with how Americans are feeling the impact.
This morning, the fallout is growing from the government shutdown as Republicans and Democrats remain at a standstill. It comes as President Trump met with Argentina's president Tuesday at the White House to announce a $20 billion bailout. Democrats slamming the administration, saying the U.S. has $20 billion in taxpayer funds for Argentina, but not for lowering health care costs for millions of Americans.
The overwhelming majority of Americans say we need help with our health care, and they're busy spending $20 billion because Trump seems to really like the leader of Argentina.
But Republicans pointing the blame for the shutdown on Democrats.
Democrats have made demands. And by the way, very expensive demands. And they've taken government funding hostage.
The White House has already fired more than 4,000 federal workers since the shutdown began. Now the president is threatening to lay off even more and dismantle programs favored by Democrats.
The Democrats are getting killed on the shutdown, because we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to.
But Democrats say the Republicans have already been cutting programs since Trump returned to office.
The fact that they're celebrating firing hardworking federal employees doesn't strengthen their position with the American people. It weakens it.
The shutdown also causing controversy at major airports across the country. Many are refusing to play Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's video, blaming Democrats for the shutdown, citing the Federal Hatch Act, which prohibits political activity. This as federal employees face the growing uncertainty of working without pay.
Not knowing exactly how I'm going to have childcare for my kids or put gas in the car or pay the next mortgage payment adds a certain level of stress onto an already stressful profession.
The White House says it's keeping troops paid by using research and development funding, and it's now looking for ways to do the same with federal law enforcement. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
The Calhoun County Fair is back for its 89th year, and it's officially in full swing. Crowds are already lining up earlier Tuesday to grab carnival tickets and to check out the attractions. And students have spent months raising everything from cows to chickens and rabbits, and now they're showing them off and then auctioning them to help pay for college. The livestock show is the main attraction of Fair Week.
The carnival is a great source of entertainment. On the weekends, they have bands that come out and play. There's the art exhibits, the pageants tonight. They'll bring out different things for entertainment. They've got a petting zoo. I think they do school tours, and it's just a lot of fun for everybody in the community.
Tonight, the fair features line dancing and games. The Calhoun County Fair runs through Saturday. Victoria College health students are getting hands-on learning with the college's new upgraded simulation labs. The labs are built to mirror real hospital settings, and students jumped into action during a high-intensity emergency simulation, complete with a fake 911 call and a mock heart attack. Students from 5 different programs work together, from paramedics and nurses to respiratory and physical therapy assistants, giving care just like they would in a real ER. It's now 6:47 on our Wednesday morning. Still to come on Sunrise. Market watchers are weighing in on what could come next for the economy. It's time to celebrate some birthdays. Lucas is celebrating his 4th birthday today. Happy 4th birthday to our little guy. Mom and Dad love you very much.
Oh, look at that sweet picture. Happy birthday, Lucas. And Melissa is celebrating her 50th birthday today. Happy 50th birthday, Melissa. Love you from Dad, Valerie, Beto, and Julia.
Happy birthday to Abrielle. Happy birthday to our sweet girl. We're so proud of you. We love you very much from all your family.
Happy birthday, Abrielle. And Zach is celebrating his 35th birthday today. Happy birthday, Zach. We pray 35 is as kind to you as you are to this world. I will never be able to thank God enough for you. You are an incredible son, brother, husband, dad, and friend. And we love you deeply, Mom's family.
Aliana is turning 11 today. Happy 11th birthday, Aliana. Love from Mom, Dad, Liliana, and Eliana.
That's right. Happy birthday, Aliana. And to see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, you can come to crossroadstoday.com. Just click the drop-down menu, then click the Home tab, and then you'll see Submit Your Birthday Photo.
And I want to wish Omar a very happy birthday. Love seeing your photography, Omar. The time is now 6:48 on our Wednesday morning, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, well, happy birthday.
That's right, happy birthday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, good morning, Crossroads. I'm sure a lot of y'all saw the 7-day forecast a few moments ago, and you saw what I was talking about, how we're going to be looking a little bit warm for the halfway point of October. Today's the 15th, like I said. You can see highs will stick in the low 90s, upper 80s, all the way into next week, even with the help of a front that will be here. Now I've got to get in here at about Sunday midday, somewhere around noontime. You can see that is indicated by the winds shifting out of the northeast. But why is it not going to do any damage to our temperatures? Well, you see right here on Monday, the winds will immediately return out of the Gulf, out of the southeast, and that is going to keep the heat with us. Now, don't let your hopes up just yet, because that's the first front. Front number 2, there's another one that is coming our way late next week, and here's why. Looking at your satellite, you can see there are 4 low pressure systems out there we're tracking. Here's low number 1, just off the west coast of California. Here is low number 2, just off the coast of Alaska. And where's low number 3 and 4? Well, they're way out west. We're talking near China and Japan. Here's Japan. Here's low number 3, and then here is about low number 4, where it's actually starting to form over China right now. Low number 3 and 4 are going to be the ones responsible for bringing our front next week, whereas low number 1 and 2 will bring us our front this weekend. Here's why. Low number 1 is going to move northeast as we go to this weekend, and that is going to grab low number 2 and slingshot that a little bit further south, sending the front through our area, but high pressure returning immediately will bring us those Gulf winds again. But then here's low 3, and there's low 4. That'll bring us our next front for late next week, and we'll look at all of that and more later on Sunrise.
New warnings from the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell. In remarks Tuesday, he said a slowdown in hiring is a growing risk to the economy. Some Fed watchers say it could point to more interest rate cuts before the year is out. The Fed's next meeting is later this month. New car prices are in the fast lane. Kelley Blue Book now says the average price for a new car last month was just over $50,000. It's the first time prices have broken that barrier. Prices are now more than 3.5% higher than last year. And more drivers are going electric. Global sales of fully electric cars as well as hybrids rose 26% last month, with 2.1 million being driven off lots in September. The demand driven in part by buyers in the U.S. locking in expiring tax credits. People looking to save time and money are starting to turn to the prepared food aisle in grocery stores. Sales of food prep by store delis are up nearly 4% compared to last year. Shoppers say it's quicker than cooking at home, but cheaper than ordering out. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Millions of dollars are at stake in a lawsuit tied to a devastating crash. A trial date has been set in the tragic Potomac plane crash. Parties in the wrongful death lawsuit over the American Airlines and Army Black Hawk collision over the Potomac River back in January met Tuesday. The judge set a trial date for April 12, 2027. The $250 million wrongful death lawsuit was filed last month. The NTSB is expected to release their final report on the collision in January 2026. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says firepower is coming to Ukraine. The European nations are paying for U.S. weapons. Hegseth made his statement today alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in Brussels. President Trump posthumously awarded the Medal of Freedom to the late Charlie Kirk Tuesday during a Rose Garden ceremony. The award comes just 5 weeks after Charlie Kirk was shot and killed during a speaking event in Utah. President Trump honored Kirk on what would have been his 32nd birthday. Students got a dose of real-world medical insight as A&M Victoria brought its first guest speaker to campus. Dr. Yusuke Yahagi, a former cardiothoracic surgeon turned high school teacher, spoke at the university Tuesday. He spoke about a serious heart condition called cardiogenic shock. College students, local medical professionals, community leaders, and some of his students from Ganado High School were in attendance. A burn ban was put into effect Tuesday for Jackson County due to ongoing dry conditions. Commissioners there urge residents to not do any outdoor burning until further notice. And we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV. Just search for Crossroads Today Plus. And now let's get a look at our Hombre Murciélago sunrise with Parker. That's Spanish for Batman sunrise.
Batman sunrise. That's right. You can see our sunrises are starting to get darker out there this morning thanks to the sun is starting to get a little bit lower on the horizon. But with the sun coming up, we got a beautiful sunrise, y'all. Look at it. You can actually see exactly what I was talking about. Do you see any clouds out there? I don't see any. That means it's going to be a sunny day today. So grab your sunglasses if you're headed out the door this early morning. Starting out the day, 62 in Victoria. And if you thought that's nice, guess what? Our friends on the coast, we're talking about you, Port Lavaca, Palacios, Matagorda, Sargent. Y'all are in the 60s this morning. Get out there and enjoy it because that sun you just saw on the screen, that's going to heat us up a little bit. We're looking for a high of about 90 in Port Lavaca. Not super hot, and it'll actually be kind of nice with the dry humidity. Mid-80s already at noontime, beaming wall-to-wall sunshine all day. A little bit warmer in Victoria, 92 today, and also a bit warmer in Cuero. I'm thinking 93. But y'all get used to this forecast because it's going to be pretty much just like that for the next several days. Highs sticking in the low 90s, maybe an upper 80s for a day tomorrow with cloud cover. But then a front gets here this weekend, and an even bigger front gets here late next week.
It'll be a good week for construction work.
I agree.
All right, well, thank y'all for being with us. Join Shauna, Don, Matt Clovio, and Max tonight for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10.